Welcome to Nurse Chats. As soon as I can figure out where to look on this video. Anyway, today let's talk about, let's go ahead and talk about freckles versus moles, okay? It is summer, but, we all have, I've been asked a couple times for, when you're a nurse, you get asked all the time questions. So people, I call it, 24/7 ask a nurse, but people will say, well, can you look at this? Does this look like, a mole to you or a freckle? Well, freckles are generally flat. They're, our family, my mother was from Ireland, her family's from Ireland, so we have freckles, and that's just part of our heritage. But I did have a sister-in-law who had, she was also Irish, or I forget what her maiden name was, but she married into with my husband, and they have three redheaded, very light fair boys, but she was a golfer. And what I remember is I live in a different town, but my other sister told me that my sister-in-law was golfing a lot, and she was a redhead, and she noticed a mole on her neck, I believe it was, that had changed or gotten bigger. I understood it. My sister-in-law didn't notice it, but someone else did, and said, "Hey, that looks like dangerous." And she did end up having melanoma, and we all know that melanoma is a cancer, and that it can be fatal. So moles are important to look for and look at. And again, your history of moles in your family, may or may not set you up for risk, but you should always check them out. Moles are usually raised. Maybe people have different opinions of this, but they stand out. They're not like, you don't have like hundreds of moles like freckles are. I think we can all identify that a freckle is relatively faded. It can get dark, but if it's a very well-defined little, circle in your arm, and there's lots of them that look similar, and it's not irregular, then you might call that a freckle. Moles that are irregular raised, and there are pictures on the internet. If you've got internet access, you can look up melanoma and look what cancerous moles look like. And of course, early detection is best, right? My mom, who had like thousands of freckles, did still get a skin cancer, but hers was more like a scaly lesion, what we call a lesion. So that was a little different. It was not necessarily a mole. But with the summer months, sun exposure increases. So of course, sun protection is important. And the reasons that it's important is because of this kind of thing: skin cancers, skin moles, things that show up because of ultraviolet rays, okay? And I guess the best encouragement is to get your skin looked at. I personally, I go to a dermatologist once a year. It's covered. The dermatologist checks everything. We don't always see things in the back of our body, or the dermatologist will have a record of it. My dermatologist actually takes pictures of certain marks on my body, just because then the next year she can look and see if it's changed at all. That's, again, smart. Right? How much does a dermatology visit take? Maybe an hour. And then I believe my sister-in-law told me that they actually could use a certain kind of light to look for moles that might not be visible to the human eye. So it might be ultraviolet light. I can't remember what it was, but I do know that my own esthetician did a I don't know, maybe it was ultraviolet light, I can't remember, but she was showing me the damage to my skin. Now, I live in Colorado, and in my early life was out quite a bit in the sun without a lot of protection most of the time, skiing and all kinds of craziness. But she put an infrared light on my face, and oh my God, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. Like, literally, there were black marks and freckles and pigmentations everywhere. I mean, everywhere. She did it on my arms. We looked at my arms as well. And I was doing it more for, because my mother did have skin cancer. I just wanted to see if I needed to do something to get rid of some of the damage that I've had to my skin through the sun, and it was all from the sun, and she told me that. And so I bought an ultraviolet preventative umbrella. It was a little pricey, but I can put that over me and the ultraviolet rays won't even come to me. And if I'm out and about, I'll use my ultraviolet umbrella, you better believe it, and then use sunscreen more diligently than I used to. I don't like the feeling of sunscreen, and a lot of people feel that way about sunscreen because it has zinc in it, it's kind of thick and sticky. But then long sleeves, or whatever protection you can give yourself from the sun, that would be great. But be aware, freckles versus moles, and again, there's a wealth of information on those things, but someone asked me to talk about that, and I'm happy to, and I can't wait to talk to you guys next time. Okay, I'm looking forward to it. Take care.